From The National, this is Trending Middle East. I'm Yasmin Al-Taji. It's Monday, September 22nd. Here are today's headlines. The United Nations General Assembly's high-level talks kick off today in New York. At the top of the agenda, Palestine. Canada, Australia, and the UK announced their formal recognition of a Palestinian state yesterday. Several others, including France and Belgium, have pledged to follow suit at this year's General Assembly. It's a major symbolic shift from Western states as Israel's war in Gaza approaches its third year. The National's Adla Massoud is at the summit. Here she is with more.
The mood at the 2025 UN General Assembly is tense and pragmatic. Delegates are preparing for a tough week. Conversations in the halls of the UN are dominated by stalled conflicts and looming deadlines such as Gaza war, Ukraine, and the Iran's sanctions snapback. So far, there's little hope for any major breakthroughs. The atmosphere in New York feels very wary, anxious, and centered on proving that multilateralism still has value.
This is part of a conference at the UN on Palestinian state recognition co-chaired by France and Saudi Arabia. It comes amid a decision by the U.S. to deny visas for about 80 Palestinian officials. The UN General Assembly voted on Friday to let Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas address world leaders by video and condemned the U.S.'s decision.
In an interview with AFP last week, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres urged countries not to be intimidated by Israel's threats to annex the occupied West Bank in response to growing calls for Palestinian statehood.
Syria's Druze leadership has invited UN investigators to probe violence in Sweida. This as President Ahmed al-Shara headed to the UN General Assembly in New York on Sunday. Al-Shara has continued his rise on the global theater after normalization with the United States earlier this year. Syria's also forged ties with once enemies, like Russia and China. Sweida in Syria's south is home to several hundred thousands of Druze. A Druze statement on Sunday said that spiritual leader Sheikh Hikmet al-Hijri sent an invitation to the head of the Independent International Commission of Inquiry on the Syrian Arab Republic to, quote, come to Sweida and convey the truth to the world before the evidence is lost, unquote. Last week, Washington brokered a deal to try to solve the Druze question. That was after the killing of at least 1,000 people, mostly civilian members of the sect, in a government offensive in July. Israel's latest offensive in Gaza is putting pressure on the enclave's remaining hospitals. The deaths of doctors and the shortages of equipment and beds are pushing the situation once more to the brink. The World Health Organization said last week Israel's attack on Gaza City and orders for people to leave are pushing them into a, quote, ever-shrinking area, unfit for human dignity, unquote. Israel's intensifying ground offensive has left medical staff scrambling to treat hundreds of wounded people every day. Mohammed Abu Salmiya, the Director General of Al-Shifa Hospital, said Gaza City's largest medical facility no longer had the capacity to handle severe cases. Over the weekend, Israel's military destroyed Abu Salmiya's home in an attack that killed his brother. As Israel pushes its offensive forward, at least 32 Palestinians were killed in Israeli attacks across the Gaza Strip on Sunday. That's according to medical sources cited by official news agency Wafa. That's all for this morning's headlines. You can get these stories and follow more of our live coverage at thenationalnews.com. Yasmin Al-Taji, The National.